science fiction. And now you can see the Milky Way. It has always been my dream. Is there life out there, I say, beyond us human beings? I always think, are they more intelligent than us? Now we go back to Earth, so I mustn't make a fuss. So now we leave this constant dark to go back to Joyland in the space park. You mystify me, Susie said. Why? I replied, going off of your head. What do you mean about life on other planets? It's because the youth take it in, like hungry gannets. And adults close their minds because they are too proud. They only believe in life in this one world. Susie said, you don't belong here, not in a fair. It's for ex-cons and students and for people who don't care. I am here, I said, because I am a drifter. Be quiet anyway while I speak into the speaker. We are now re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Goodbye from us and don't forget your gear. What are you drifting from? Susie asked or said. People who are nosy, and I turned away my head. A man that is rude, she said very snide. Belongs here with the dreamers on a toy space ride. Would you like me to snoop into your life? I said with a grunt. You can start in a minute because I am free for lunch. We both agreed and we made heed toward the canteen. And she stopped in her tracks and I said, aren't you keen? She replied, I felt like someone was watching us as if from everywhere. I try not to cuss and I said there is not that many people in the fair. I said, we've only got an hour and that is probably in your mind. She replied, of course, let's hurry up. We mustn't take our time. But there was something we didn't know about. That there was a spaceman sending messages out. She almost saw me, I must hide. I will get some humans on the next space ride. However, on the other side of the fair, a boy was getting cross with a machine. Joe and his partner said, don't you dare. You can tell where you have been. You are the gambler of the fair. I have lost 5 pence. He began to shout. It's the principle, I must get it out. She replied, come on, let's go to the space ride. I heard it's great. I must confide as I stepped inside. As I did so, her face was full of hate. I suppose there is nothing else around here, I said as I gave the machine one last shake. She said, hurry up in case someone comes, for God's sake. So they walked across to the space ride game. By then, Susie and I were back again. Okay, get aboard. I did shout. We take off in 2 minutes, so fasten your seat belts. God, did you feel that? Susie said. Do you reckon it's all right? I replied, it's all right now as I shook my head. So we might as well get on with the flight. As we travel faster than light, we all fell like lead. What's happening? Susie said. I spat at the speaker, there are no faults. Hold on everybody is real G-force. As it passed, I asked Susie, are you all right? Then, I saw a monster, and Susie held me tight. The monster said, you are getting more than you thought. Take one of these pills because we are hitting time warp. And the pressure will make you long and short. So take a pill if you crave your lives. For is the only way that you will survive. Now we are going to my planet Zeon. So you must take another pill before we land on, as the atmosphere isn't the same. So take your pill. He repeated again. Next thing I knew, we were in a zoo. God, what can we do? We were in a line full of mammals. Yes, we are in a zoo and I was one of the animals. The monster came over with some of his friends. They laughed at us and sneered and cheered, and said, these are humans. Let us out. Joanne did shout. Her boyfriend moaned, and then a pout. You're like the animals on Earth. So be quiet or you won't be fed. You can understand what we say. Because of that little black box. That should give you some comfort. You stupid little tots. Susie asked, Do you think we will be here forever? I am not sure, I said, but I'm glad that we are together. John began to swear, saying, "We will never get out of here." As he said this, he had a fit, and Joanne said, "Of this I also fear." Grow up, John, and just accept it. Weeks went past, and they didn't go fast. Then John shouted aloud, "I feel sick. All we get to eat are these tablets. I have to get out of here." He began to fuss. "Before these overgrown lizards begin to eat us." "Oh! Look, Susie said some more are coming to see. And one is smaller than the rest. He is a child, and he's looking, I can see. I must admit, I must confide, he is cute, isn't he? If we ever get out of this place, I'd love to take him with me." Then the monster asked his mother, "Can humans us their heads? It certainly looks like it from their shoes and their threads. Is it okay to keep them in this dome? For they must be missing their natural home." "I don't think that they're really that intelligent," she replied. "They probably love it here like heaven sent." She lied with pride. "Yeah, I don't think that they're really that intelligent. Come on, son, it's time we went." He said something to us. His mom asked, "What did you say?" He said nothing, don't make a fuss. Then dropped something in our cage. "What was that?" Johnny asked. "Be quiet or his mother might hear and become suspicious." So we waited until they went, and then I said, "It's some sort of puzzle, we must use our heads." We twisted it, and then a laser beam hit the fence. And it opened the door and out we went. Johnny said, "We better make a start." And I said, "Let's hide now until it's dark." "Oh! Yes, like in the films," he said. "Yes, but this is not acting," I replied. "So, don't lose your head." So we waited for dark and made our move as we made our escape. We were in our group, we'd outdone our fate. Johnny shouted, "We are free." "Not quite yet," Susie replied. And we looked at Joanne as she sighed. "Don't worry, at least we are out of the zoo. Now we'll find a spaceship." "Yes, that is what we will do. We will blast down the walls, for their guns are powerful. Not used as a weapon, but as a tool." Joanne started to walk towards the town. "We have to find where all the spaceships come down. They must be near a body of water to cool the ship's case. It can't be far, let's set a pace." Johnny asked, "Where's there a river?" I said, "At the bottom of a mountain." He replied, "Very clever," and we kept walking. Then, we found a river, and John said, "To find an airport will take forever, so let's use our heads." Then upon the river there was a bend. And then we saw the ships at our journey's end. But the problem was getting on them, and then Johnny disappeared. Joanne said, "The last time I saw him, he was over here." "That is it. Let's all stand there. It will beam us up without a care." And we saw Johnny inside the ship standing there. "I thought I had been caught," Johnny said. "I was about to run. I was out of my head. We have to learn how to fly the ship. That's the control, I remember it." We found the controls, and we began to understand. As Joanne decoded them because they were like shorthand. We sped off, accelerated and sped from this land. And the controls were driven by the mind, not the hand. She was right, and we were among the stars. Now I said, "We have to work out where we are." "I remember passing by those 2 stars," Johnny said. "So let's take the warp pills, or we will be dead. Then from this planet we have fled. The pills are here in these straws, so hurry, Susie, and take yours. I will set it for warp 9, then think of home and we will be fine." "Hey, look there," Susie said. "I think that is Mars, we've safely fled." "I will take it from here," I replied. "It's just like the toy in my space ride." I pushed decelerate and we did land. Just outside of Sussex in Camber Sands. "Get out! Quick is going to blow up." for it didn't land in water and cool down. So run, jump, and duck. We did what we did, and we got away. And we all agreed that that was quite enough for one day. When we got home, I looked for the gun, but we must have lost it when we had run. The ship was gone without a trace, for a sandstorm had hit and created this hiding place. No one believed our story, so we gave up trying to convince. We were just happy that we hadn't heard of the space monsters again or ever since. We made money from our story on Jack and Nori, but the story was powerful and could cause national friction. So our story wasn't seen as fact, it was called science fiction.